I never thought my life would end up inside someone else's private highlights. Not like this. The story begins simple. A night out, a few drinks too many, and a man who kept watching me like I was the only one in the room. His name? Lyndon. Not the kind of name you hear every day, not in New Mexico where I'd move for work, but it suited him. Rare, old-fashioned, carrying some hidden weight. Before I dive deeper, let me pause and say this. If you're reading or watching the story unfold on screen, you owe me something. Hit like, share it with someone who'd understand, subscribe to the channel, and please leave a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from, because what I'm about to tell you will pull you in so close. You'll feel guilty if you just take it all in without leaving a trace of yourself behind. Anyway, back to Lyndon. The first time I noticed him was at a rooftop bar overlooking the desert skyline. Strings of amber lights hung overhead like fireflies caught midair. He wore a linen shirt, sleeves rolled up, and he had that kind of calm smile that suggested he knew more than he ever said out loud. We were introduced by mutual friends. He didn't say much at first, just nodded, shook my hand, but his grip lingered just a second too long. I felt it, the kind of pause that isn't casual at all. Later that night, I caught him filming clips for his Instagram story. Nothing unusual, everyone does it. But when I glanced over his shoulder, I realized something. He never posted them. He just kept saving them. Like he was creating a vault of moments too delicate to share with the world. One of those clips? Me, laughing, glass in hand, head tilted back like I had no worries. When I teased him about it, he leaned close, voice low enough that only I could hear. Not everything's meant to be posted. I should have let it go. But the way he said it, it felt like a secret promise. Over the next few weeks, we kept bumping into each other. At the gym, at a late-night diner where the neon flickered and the coffee tasted burnt. At the bookstore downtown, where he was thumbing through travel essays while I searched for something mindless. Each time, the same glance, the same pause, like gravity kept pulling us closer. Then one Friday night, it happened. I'd been scrolling absent-mindedly when a notification popped up. Lyndon added you to close friends. My stomach dropped, and before I could think, I clicked. The highlight reel was short, just a few green ring stories. But there I was, sitting at the bar, head tilted toward him, smiling like he'd said the funniest thing in the world. Then another clip, me reaching across the table of the diner, fingers brushing his as I grabbed the salt shaker. He'd filmed me when I wasn't looking. It should have been creepy. But instead, it felt like being chosen. Like he was saying, you're not for everyone, but you're everything to me. The next time I saw him, I couldn't stop myself. So, I'm in your private highlights now. He didn't flinch. Just smiled that calm smile again. Not everything's meant for everyone. And then his hand touched mine on the table. Just once. Just long enough for me to know what he wanted. I should have been nervous, but all I felt was heat. That night didn't end in fireworks yet, but it set the tone. The secrecy, the hunger, the way he'd look at me like he wanted to devour me, but he also wanted to keep me hidden away. And the thing is, when someone says don't post, what they really mean is, keep this between us, which only made me want more. The first time it happened wasn't planned. Maybe that's what made it so dangerous. It was a Tuesday night, the kind of evening where the desert air cools down just enough to make you forget how brutal the day had been. I was home, halfway through a bowl of microwave noodles, when Lyndon texted, "Drive?" No explanation, just that one word. I didn't hesitate. 15 minutes later, I was sliding into the passenger seat of his silver Tahoe, the smell of oud clinging faintly to the upholstery. He had the windows down, one hand on the wheel, the other drumming against the console to some slow, moody R&B track I didn't recognize. Neither of us said much at first. We just drove, out past the edge of town where the neon signs bled into darkness and the road stretched endless. Every now and then, he'd glance at me, just quick enough to make my pulse trip. Finally, he pulled off onto a dirt shoulder. killed the headlights, and left us sitting in near darkness under a scatter of desert stars. "I like the quiet out here," he said softly, leaning back, fingers loose on the wheel. No one watching. I nodded, but my throat was dry. I could feel the air shift between us. Heavy, electric. He turned, fully this time, and in the faint glow from the dash, I caught it. The hunger in his eyes. It was me who moved first. Or maybe it was him. I honestly don't know. 1 second. We were just sitting there, and the Nex's hand was on the back of my neck, pulling me across the console, and our mouths collided. It wasn't a soft kiss. It was sharp, desperate, all the weeks of stolen glances crashing together at once. His lips were warm, firm, tasting faintly of mint gum. My hand gripped his shirt, knuckles tight, because I was terrified if I let go, it would all dissolve. He broke the kiss only long enough to whisper, "Don't post this." I laughed, breathless. Trust me, I wouldn't. Then he kissed me again, slower this time, deeper. His tongue slid against mine, and the world outside that car stopped existing. It was just us, the darkness, the heat of his palm against my jaw, the press of his thigh brushing mine. When he finally pulled back, he rested his forehead against mine, chest heaving. "This is a mistake," he murmured. But the way his fingers trailed down to lace with mine told me neither of us believed that. We sat like that for what felt like forever, silence buzzing, hands tangled. Every brush of his thumb over my knuckles sent sparks through me. "I don't want anyone else to know," he said at last. "This stays between us. Understand?" I swallowed hard and nodded. "Yeah, between us." But what I didn't say, what I couldn't say, was that part of me wanted the whole world to see, to know, to understand that he wasn't just a secret on my phone screen, or a green ring story hidden from strangers. He was real. He was mine. Still, I kept it in, because I wanted him more than I wanted proof. When he dropped me off later that night, he didn't kiss me again, just gave me that small, calm smile and said, "I'll see you soon." I stumbled inside, heart pounding, lips still swollen. And when I opened Instagram, the first thing at the top of my feed was his story. A simple clip of the starry desert sky. Caption, "Not everything needs an audience." No one else would have known. But I did. And for the first time, I realized I was addicted, not just to him, but to the secrecy, the thrill of being wanted but hidden, the strange intimacy of being someone's private highlight. For days after that night in the Tahoe, I couldn't focus. Work emails blurred, meals tasted flat, even sleep felt shallow. My mind kept looping back to the press of Lyndon's mouth on mine, the weight of his hand against my jaw, the whispered warning, "Don't post this." And then, as if he knew I was drowning in it, he texted again. "Mall food court. 6:30, don't be late." That was it. No emojis. No explanation. Just an order disguised as an invitation. I almost laughed when I saw him waiting at one of those cheap tables, sipping a Coke like he wasn't the most magnetic man in the building. He wore a dark hoodie, baseball cap low over his eyes, but nothing could disguise him. His presence bent the air. I sat down across from him, nerves buzzing. "You texted like this was a drug deal." He smirked. "In a way it is." We ate greasy slices of pizza and pretended we were just friends killing time. But under the table, his knee brushed mine deliberate and stayed there. That single point of contact had me more breathless than any kiss. When the crowd thinned, he leaned closer. "Follow me." I didn't question it. I just stood, heart hammering, and trailed him through the maze of shops until we ducked into the men's restroom near the far wing of the mall. It was empty, fluorescent lights buzzing faintly, echoing too much. He pushed me gently against the tiled wall near the far stall. "This is reckless," I whispered. "That's the point." And then he kissed me again, harder than before, teeth grazed on my lower lip, tongue sliding against mine until I gasped. His hands pinned my wrists lightly against the wall, his body pressing into mine. It was messy, dangerous, dizzying. Every instinct told me to pull away, but every nerve in my body begged me to stay. The sound of footsteps outside broke us apart, both of us panting. He let my wrist go, stepped back, and his chest rose and fell with sharp breaths. "See what you do to me," he muttered, almost accusing, as if this hunger was my fault. I wanted to say, "You're the one who texted me. You're the one who pulled me in." But instead, I just looked at him, really looked, and realized he was shaking, not with fear, but with restraint. When the restroom fell silent again, he cupped my face, gentler this time. "This can't keep happening." "Then stop," I whispered. He kissed me again instead. By the time we left, I felt unsteady, like I was carrying a secret too heavy for my chest. But he walked beside me, calm, collected, as if nothing had happened. Later that night, a new story appeared in his close friend circle. Just a dim clip of fluorescent mall lights, the hum of chatter in the distance. Captioned, "Things look different when you know where to look." It made my stomach twist, because anyone else would have scrolled past without a second thought. But I knew exactly what he meant. And the truth was, I didn't want him to stop. Not anymore. It took another week before we saw each other again, but the tension hadn't dulled. It had sharpened. Every day without him was a weight pressing down on my chest. When his message came, it was only 2 words. "My place." I don't know what I expected. Maybe a night of drinks, more teasing, more half-kisses and quick retreats. But when I showed up at his apartment, a top-floor loft overlooking the stretch of desert highway, I realized this wasn't another almost. He opened the door barefoot, in a plain white t-shirt, hair damp from a shower. For the first time, he looked less like a secret and more like a man I could imagine waking up beside. We didn't bother with small talk. He took my jacket, set aside, and then just stood there, staring at me with that same unblinking intensity that had undone me since the first night. "You sure about this?" he asked, voice low. I stepped forward until my chest brushed his. I've never been more sure. That was all it took. His hands found my waist, pulling me close, and his mouth crashed into mine. But this time, there was no pulling away, no restraint, just raw need. We stumbled back toward his couch, kissing like we'd both been starving. His hand slid under my shirt, fingers tracing the lines on my back, and I gasped into his mouth. When I tugged at the hem of his t-shirt, he raised his arms without hesitation, letting me strip it off. The sight of him, bare skin, muscles taut and trembling, nearly undid me. "Lyndon," I breathed, my hand skimming over his chest. He caught my wrist, kissed the inside of it softly, then pressed my palm flat against his racing heartbeat. "Do you feel that? That's what you do to me." The words almost broke me. I pulled him down onto the couch, straddling his lap. Our mouths fused together again, slower now but deeper, more deliberate. His hands roamed, learning me, memorizing me. For the first time, nothing about it felt like a mistake. We moved together like the answer to a question neither of us had dared to ask out loud. His lips traced down my jaw, my throat, leaving sparks wherever they touched. I held on to him, clinging as though he were the only steady thing in a spinning world. When our bodies finally gave in to everything we've been holding back, when we stopped pretending and let the hunger consume us, it wasn't reckless or forbidden anymore. It was relief. It was belonging. After, we lay tangled on his couch, breathing hard, the room heavy with silence and something deeper, something that felt dangerously close to love. He brushed a strand of hair from my forehead and smiled, softer than I'd ever seen. "Still want to post this?" I laughed, burying my face in his chest. "No, this is mine. Ours." He kissed the top of my head. "Good, because not everything's meant for everyone." And for the first time, I understood exactly what he meant. Because this wasn't for the world. It wasn't for likes or comments or proof. It was for us. A secret, yes, but the kind you cherish, not the kind you hide. Later, as I drifted toward sleep against him, my phone buzzed. I opened Instagram without thinking. And there it was, a new close friend story. Just a photo of 2 glasses of water on his coffee table, condensation shining in the low light. No people in the frame, nothing incriminating. Just simple, ordinary. But the caption read, "Sometimes the best stories never get posted." And I smiled because for once, I wasn't just his secret. I was his highlight.